Каждый сказки есть правда.
What is up, my friends, and welcome back to Jones Vibes. Today I am talking about Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ariana DeBose, Russell Crowe, and directed by J.C. Chandor. This will be a spoiler-free review, so you don't have to worry about that. As always, make sure to go down to the comments, leave me all of your thoughts on Kraven the Hunter. Make sure to hit the like button as well, and subscribe if you're new here. But Kraven the Hunter, I think I've made my thoughts pretty public when it comes to the Sony spin-off Spider-Verse thing and how I've kind of just been wanting it to end for a while, even though Venom The Last Dance came out, and I actually kind of liked it, but kind of liking Venom The Last Dance is very, like, bottom-of-the-barrel shooting, you know what I mean? You kind of go into all of these movies just being like, well, I don't know, let's just see what the hell this is. And with Kraven, it's like the first trailer came out a year and a half ago or 2 years ago or something like that. It's been forever. It's the Aaron Taylor Johnson live-action Kraven that we've never gotten. It has this R rating. There's supposed to be a lot of gore, and so I don't know. There's been whispers and rumors that this will be the last film of the Sony Spider-Verse, which is kind of exciting to me. And with all of that kind of coming together, I was like, all right, well, let's give this Kraven movie a shot. I got invited to a press screening for this, and oh man, just initial thoughts here. This truly was one of the worst films that I've ever had the pleasure of watching in a theater. After Madam Web and some of these other films, I couldn't imagine that it could get much worse in terms of writing. But boy, oh boy, does it. This film, I dare say, has the worst writing that I've ever seen on a movie screen in a movie theater. The story follows Kraven, Aaron Taylor Johnson. He has this strange relationship with his father, and it sets him on this path of vengeance, and that motivates him to become a hunter, one of the world's greatest hunter, and that has to be echoed every second of this film. It's like, what are you? And he's like, I'm a hunter, I'm here to hunt. And the shots, like the moments, the way that the director chose to set this thing up is absolutely wild. It's like, let's have two actors, let's film them completely separately, and obviously this happens all the time on a film set. Maybe it's scheduling conflicts or something like that, like somebody's not there, so we're gonna film you here, and then we're gonna have somebody read for you, and we're gonna film your shot over here, and then we're gonna mash them together. But it's like every single scene in this freaking movie was that. There are a lot of these monologue type back and forth moments with Ariana DeBose as well as Aaron Taylor Johnson, both their characters coming together, and it is the most awkward, dysfunctional thing that I've ever seen such a great cast have to endure. That's one of the wildest things about this movie, as well as the entire Sony Spider-Verse. There are so many phenomenal actors that have been placed in this thing, and it just makes you so curious. Like, how much money are you guys getting paid? How is this even happening? Because Ariana DeBose is a freaking Academy Award winner, man. She's an Oscar winner. Like, Russell Crowe is a phenomenal actor. Aaron Taylor Johnson blew me away in Bullet Train most recently, but I mean, even going back to like performances in Kick-Ass and stuff like that, he's phenomenal, but somehow, like, all of them signed on to this project, and then they have to sit and they just have to read from this shitty ass script, and you can kind of just tell that none of them are really giving much heart or putting much heart into it. And so what you end up with is a story that could be compelling. It's almost like this movie walked so that maybe a future version of Kraven could run, you know? Like, there are a lot of different pieces happening in this film that, if put together in the correct way, I could see a really, really fun movie. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of just tired of this anti-hero bullshit. Like, every one of these feels exactly the same. You know what's happening. It's like, he's a bad guy, but is he a good guy? Well, he's kind of a good guy, actually, but he is a bad guy, though. But this one, more than any of them, was the strangest experience because it almost felt self-aware in a sense. Like, it was so bad that you start to think, like, are they messing with me? Did the director have a specific vision where he was trying to create a movie like The Room, like a movie where people could go to Alamo Drafthouse and have like movie parties and quoting it and like getting ready for the worst bit of dialogue? Because truly, there are several different written scenes in this film that are gonna come home with me, that are like memorable and are gonna be burned into my brain because it's so freaking funny. And that is another thing that I want to talk about, like the experience in the theater, talking about going and sitting down and having to endure this, but also at the same time, like, do you have a good time? It's like, the film was absolute dog shit, but did I have a good time? Hell yes, I did. And I think a huge reason for that is because I was sitting there with a lot of different critics here in the Austin area, and eventually, as the movie kind of got rolling, a couple of these really clunky dialogue scenes happened, a couple of these really cheesy lines, and all of a sudden you kind of heard somebody start laughing in the back of the theater, and then another person started laughing, and then before you knew it, like, all of us were on board this train that was just like, okay, we're watching like one of the weirdest and dumbest movies around, and we're all just gonna sit and we're gonna have a good time with it, and that's what happened. And so if people are going to this film, it's like I'm on this like borderline of encouraging people to go, because in one sense I don't want people to like spend their money and for this movie to make money, because I don't want the studio to learn the wrong lesson, because it feels like they do that a lot of the time. But at the same time, like, getting your friends together and going to this on a Friday night and sitting down and not expecting like to be blown away by some phenomenal Kraven movie, but instead expecting to just like laugh your ass off for 2 hours, I don't know. It's kind of a good time, and I kind of feel like I'm leaning more that way about how I want to approach what I say to people about it. It's like, I don't know, go watch this movie. But there's a lot of action. There are some really big set pieces, but the CGI is just, it's not there. A lot of this movie feels like they shot something and then they just smashed it together because they didn't know what the hell like the narrative was that they were searching for in their head. And a lot of these little action set pieces, it's like something happens and then cut to northern Russia or cut to somewhere else. There's not a lot of resolve within each scene, so it just feels like it's constantly jumping around. You're not getting used to any of the characters. Aaron Taylor Johnson is in the movie quite a bit, and he's the main character, but he's also like not in it very much. It's really weird. You spend a lot of time with a lot of different characters, and that comes back to the actors thing. Like, I will admit, having Russell Crowe in here, you feel bad for him, but also there are a couple moments where you're like, damn, Russell Crowe's kind of serving right now. Like, this is kind of cool. And that's what makes you almost want to revisit it in the future. So some of it was a lot of fun. I think you see a lot of the action and the blood and stuff in the trailers. And so it's not really that special when it comes up on the screen, because we've been seeing these damn trailers for so long, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, if this is the end of the Sony live action Spider-Verse, it almost feels to me like they went out with a bang and they were just like, this is how terrible we can be. Check this out, laugh your ass off, and we're going to throw this all in the dumpster now. And that's probably what's going to happen. That's probably what should happen, realistically. You can't have this bad of a script. You can't spend this much money on all of this CGI, on all of these actors coming together, and give us this product. That's when it starts crossing over into the territory of the audience feeling like they just got slapped in the face. Like, why in the hell did I spend my money on this movie? Like, if people are going to watch this seriously, those are the theaters that I feel bad for. If you have to go and you have to sit in silence and watch this film, it's going to be the worst time of your life. So I guess expectation-wise, what I'm trying to set you guys up for is, if you do go see this, or even if you watch it at home, like, don't watch this one at home alone. Like, have some friends around and just, like, make fun of it and have a good time, because that's really what it is. I mean, it's less than a popcorn blockbuster. This movie is like The Room. The dialogue is that bad. But I don't know. Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's a great actor, and whether he's James Bond or not, this almost lowers my stock in that a little bit, but it feels like it's not his fault, and I really don't think it's any of their fault. I think it's really just the studio. I think a lot of it just comes down to the studio being willing to greenlight this type of absolute garbage. So yeah, guys, there's some fun nods. They clearly at one point were probably trying to set it up to do some sort of Sinister Six or some sort of Spider-Man thing, just like all of the other movies. There's always something towards the end or something like that that's like leading towards something else that kind of piques your interest a little bit. But at this point, I'm just like, whatever, man. Like, I just, no thanks. Done with that. Thank you, Kraven. Good night. So yeah, those are my thoughts. That's my spoiler-free review on Kraven the Hunter. As for my star rating, I'm gonna give Kraven the Hunter, this is the first time I've ever done this, but I'm gonna give Kraven the Hunter a half a star out of 5 stars. It doesn't even deserve a full star. But did I have a good time again? Yes, but it's if we're talking critically here, Yeah, that was just really bad. But be sure to leave all of your thoughts on Kraven the Hunter, as well as all of the Sony Spider-Verse movies down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, my friends, make sure you hit the like button before heading out, hit subscribe, and keep up the good vibes. Peace!